Now on Nightside, you may want to take it easy on cranking up the heat this winter, how to keep your electricity bills low as the temperatures drop.
Weather alert day continues. A high wind warning for the inland northwest. Gusts are already topping 50 miles per hour, and the strongest winds are yet to come in the first alert forecast.
And what's next for the WSU Cougars on 4 News Now? Friday Night Sports Extra coming up on Nightside. Well, stuck for hours on Lookout Pass. Drivers are telling 4 News Now on social media they've been stuck on I-90 near Lookout Pass at the Idaho-Montana state line for nearly 4 hours. And just minutes ago, Idaho State Police told us spun-out semis at Lookout Pass were causing that backup. Winds are already picking up across the inland northwest. Trees and flags were blowing around. You can see them there earlier this evening in Airway Heights. And those winds are expected to get even stronger. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Aaron Luna.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. We can hear the winds inside the studio tonight. Leave your porch light on. That's the message power companies have for those getting into bed tonight. That way crews can tell if your home doesn't have power. Rania Kaur is in studio with us tonight with how to stay safe if you lose power. Rania?
Well, take a look right here. These are the outages for Avista right now in the Spokane area. Almost 50 Avista customers don't have power right now. And according to Inland Power, I checked a few minutes ago, over 300 of their customers are also dealing with outages. With winds getting potentially worse overnight, there are some things you can do in case you get stuck with a power outage. Turn off all of your appliances that were on before the power went out. Unplug all electronic equipment, including computers. Leave a light or radio on as an alert when power has been restored. Use flashlights, not candles, because they're a fire hazard. And keep an eye on the time. Food can last for a couple of hours in your fridge or freezer, but you need to keep the door closed. If the outage lasts longer, plan to move food into coolers with ice. Now, if you live in the city of Spokane and have trees blocking roadways, you can call 311 for all the latest updates. You can head on over to our website at kxly.com. Aaron, Kirsten.
Yeah, thank you. We were saying earlier we could hear those winds blowing the equipment on top of this roof, and the trees outside were looking pretty wavy as well.
Yeah, let's send it right over to our chief meteorologist, Chris Crocker, for a look at what we're seeing right now.
Well, the winds are actually going to be picking up even more just in the next couple of hours. Our high wind warning goes all the way until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning for the area shaded in orange on your screen. Right now, we have wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour in Spokane. We've had 50-mile-per-hour winds and higher in Pullman as well. 30 or 40-mile-per-hour gusts in Moses Lake, 36 in Spokane Valley right now. As look at our satellite, and the jet stream with those stronger winds is moving into the region. But again, the worst is yet to come. A cold front moving through, mixing those winds down to the surface right around the 1 to 2 o'clock hour. Our forecast wind gusts starting off at midnight in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range in Spokane, Pullman, Lewiston, 75-mile-per-hour winds possible in the Tri-City area. We will keep those winds going through 1 a.m. Very strong winds through 2. By the time we're at 6 o'clock in the morning, winds in the 40 to 50-mile-per-hour range, slowly decreasing throughout the day on Saturday. It's still going to be a windy day on Saturday, just not as windy as it's going to be overnight. Once we're in that 50 to 60-mile-per-hour range, falling trees, hazardous driving, numerous power outages, but we do have the potential to get above 60 miles per hour right in the Spokane area. Isolated spots, possibly close to 70 miles per hour, and that's when we have the extensive damage. We are drying out around the region, and most of the day tomorrow will be dry. Just a slight chance of some hit-and-miss snow showers in the afternoon. Our forecast, here's 2 a.m. That's when that cold front comes through along with the strongest winds. Behind it for Saturday, windy conditions and some isolated showers. Then the next system comes in for Sunday, bringing a rain-snow mix and a big cool down for next week. We are going to see temperatures only in the 20s and 30s for highs, low 30s for highs. Overnight lows down in the teens through the 7-day forecast. forecast. Quick look at our pick of the night. It's a two-parter from Terry Anderson in Rathdrum. This was the scene in his backyard yesterday in Rathdrum. This was the scene after 6 inches of snow this morning, including one tree branch down. I'm sure most of that snow has melted. Now it's 50 degrees presently, but take this storm seriously, and the next 4 to 5 hours will tell the damage. Aaron,
that is
Kirsten?
good. That is good advice. Thank you, Chris. And we just checked with Avista Power, and they're saying 4,000 people are without power right now with 69 outages.
The wet weather and winds are making this winter storm harder to handle, but Avista crews say they're working overtime to keep you and your family safe. Fall weather lasted longer than normal this year, and we can see that with the leaves that have still been hanging around. Mix that with wet, windy weather, and you have a unique storm Avista is taking very seriously.
So our crews are prepared. Their fleet vehicles are fully gassed and stocked, and they'll work 24 hours a day until the last customer's power is restored.
If you see downed power lines, stay away and report them. In Stevens County, Fire District 1 shared this video that you see on your screen of the power lines on fire from earlier this morning. And it's important to have your eyes and ears out for crews tackling these outages. Make sure that you call in what you're seeing. You can track the status of an outage online at myavista.com.
As you adjust your thermostat this winter, the temperature won't be the only thing going up. Monthly energy payments are also expected to increase.
Overall, we expect the cost of home energy to go up about 18% this winter, largely driven by higher natural gas costs. So the average family will be spending about $200 more this winter than they spent last year. And last year was also expensive.
The rising cost is due to multiple factors. The war in Ukraine has led to Russia cutting off natural gas supply to the West. Hotter temperatures this past summer, so electric companies had to use more gas to produce electricity. And the switch from coal to natural gas for environmental benefits, which puts additional pressure on natural gas markets. The winter months are expected to be even colder this year, driving demand. But you can take steps to reduce the energy you use and save some cash. First, get your furnace tuned up and replace the filters. Turn the thermostat down by about 5 degrees and apply caulk to any gaps around the house where heat could get out. You can also try calling your local utility company to see if they offer free programs that increase the efficiency of your home.
Well, a bear has been spotted in a Spokane Valley neighborhood. The Department of Fish and Wildlife says crews are tracking that bear in the Northwood neighborhood by the Minnehaha climbing rocks. Officers recently tried trapping it with no success, and they are asking people who live in this area to keep any trash or food sources locked up so the bear gets hungry and moves on. If you see a bear in your neighborhood, report it by calling 911.
In tonight's For Your Health coverage, the community of Millwood is now under a boil water order. County officials say E. coli bacteria has been found in the water system. Here's what you should do if you live in Millwood. Don't drink water from your faucets without boiling it first. Boiling it will kill off any trace amounts of E. coli that might still be there. And bring water to a roiling boil and let it boil for at least 60 seconds. Then allow it to cool before you use it. Watch for symptoms like diarrhea, cramps, nausea, and headaches. And call your doctor if you get really sick. You can still bathe or shower in the water, just don't drink it. County officials say they think the contamination is from sprinkler system blowouts. To fix this, maintenance workers will be chlorinating and flushing out the system. Once tests come back clear, the boil order will end. Washington State Police released chilling new audio of a 911 call they received from a woman before her husband allegedly buried her alive last month.
Police say the husband attacked her in her home. He bound her arms behind her back with duct tape and put tape over her mouth. And when he left the bedroom, she called 911 on her Apple Watch, but she could only mumble noises.
Can you hear me? What's going on there? Okay, I'm going to get help started to you.
Police say when the husband came back into the room, he realized she had an Apple Watch on and smashed it with a hammer. The victim says he then put her in a van, dug a shallow grave, stabbed her, and buried her. She had difficulty breathing, but was able to wriggle the tape off of her arms and legs and dug herself out. The husband was later arrested. $1.6 billion with a B dollars. Wouldn't that be nice? That's how much the Powerball jackpot is right now.
I'd take it. I'd take it.
I think you would. What happens if you do win, though? It doesn't happen to any of us. That's why we're sitting here.
But what if?
It's always fun to play that game. And what steps should you take to avoid joining the high percentage of players who actually become bankrupt after winning the lottery?
That's why I don't want to win. It happens more than you think. 70% of winners end up declaring bankruptcy after winning the lottery, and the #1 reason is because they don't have a plan for their money. We spoke with Robin Henniger, an associate professor of economics and finance at Whitworth University. She says a big portion of people who win the lottery don't have a lot of experience when it comes to managing money. So when they do come into a large amount of money, they don't have practice with controlled spending. And because of that, the money leaves their hands faster than they realize. It's something she calls sudden wealth syndrome.
Get a lump sum. They win the lottery, they inherit a lump sum, and they haven't learned how to manage money. And that sudden wealth syndrome is what puts them back, and they're not better off in the long run with their winnings because they haven't learned how to manage their money.
Well, Henniger recommends hiring a fiduciary financial advisor before cashing in on the big prize. The next drawing is on Saturday and is the second largest jackpot in Powerball history at $1.6 billion. District 3, Position 2 legislative candidates say they're ready to tackle crime, the housing crisis, inflation, and more. Washington's 3rd legislative district covers a large chunk of Spokane. You can see it on your map right there. Bronte Saratsky spoke with each candidate to ask them the questions you care about.
Tim Ormsby has been in office since 2003. He says he's been on almost every committee the legislature has and says that experience can help his district thrive again.
To be able to translate all the wide and varied issues that face the state and be able to translate them into what I can do to help my community not just survive, but thrive.
Natalie Polson hasn't held public office yet, but says her time as Head Start's parent liaison to Olympia and teaching experience makes her qualified to represent the 3rd District.
I am running because I love my city. I've been here my entire life, and it's a beautiful city, and it has really changed the last few years.
Polson says crime is out of control, and she wants to work on legislation to bring it down, especially when it comes to drug use and overdoses.
And that has a lot to do with legislation. So we have to start looking at that's not working, and we are actually losing our youth.
Ormsby says crime is a problem, and it's something that can be addressed by getting to the root of why people commit these crimes in the first place.
Now, we have to have accountability for people that are creating violent crimes. We also have to approach this with care and compassion to individuals with substance use disorder problems, mental health problems, etc.
As of July, the sale of high-capacity magazines is banned in Washington. Ormsby says the legislature is looking to restrict gun sales even more, something he is in favor of.
We have to provide for gun safety for our folks. It is a big fear among families, especially with school children.
Polson says she'd rather look at enhancing security in schools.
So I do think that we need to look at security in schools. I think that is the step that we need to start talking about instead of just restricting law-abiding citizens.
You can hear more from these candidates and the issues they care about. Head over to our website, KXLY.com. New on Nightside in District 3, which covers parts of Spokane Valley, Elk, and Deer Park, 2 county commissioner candidates promise to represent issues that matter to you.
One candidate aligns with the Republican Party, while the other doesn't have a party affiliation. One of the candidates, known as Wild Bill Schreiner, currently works for the city of Spokane, but has never held a position in office. Josh Kearns is currently serving as county commissioner and has been for the past 6 years. He's now seeking another term. Our Rania Kaur spoke to both candidates on why they want your vote.
In the last 6 years as my time as a county commissioner, I've focused on protecting and growing jobs, prioritizing public safety, bringing new levels of transparency to county government.
These are the priorities Josh Kearns says he walked into office with. Public safety is his #1 priority and is something he wants to continue to work on if he's reelected.
It's time that we really move down that road at seriously making the decision on what a community correction center or what a new jail is going to look like.
Wild Bill Schreiner is promising more face time if he wins as county commissioner.
Because I understand business, meaning it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week. And these people will be represented 24 hours, 7 days a week. More town hall. I need to know what they want.
Agreeing with his opponent on supporting the sheriff's office, he wants to give them more tools like drone training.
Easily, we don't have to put people into the subject matter without them getting a 360 view and understanding where they are.
He also supports the Spokane County Sheriff on his efforts to clear Camp Hope, but wants District 3's opinion on how to proceed.
And what's their position? And if it's not affecting them, it's okay. We'll go on to what affects them.
Josh Kearns was one of the votes that supported a lawsuit to clear Camp Hope.
The state and Department of Transportation, Department of Commerce, they're criticizing local government, saying that we care more about optics than action. Well, this is action, this is leadership, and that's what we're going to do.
It's your vote that'll determine which candidate will represent Spokane County's District 3. Reporting for 4 News Now, I'm Rania Kaur.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
In 1992, we sent Patty Murray to the Senate to fight for us. But after nearly 30 years in D.C., she's changed. Murray has taken almost $2 million from lobbyists, and she voted for a massive tax cut for millionaires. Patty Murray's looking out for the millionaires and special interests, not us. It's time for a change. That's why I'm voting for Tiffany Smiley. She's a political outsider who will always put Washington families first.
Evergreen Principles PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Walker's Furniture is having a mattress and furniture liquidation sale at their warehouse in the Spokane Valley Industrial Park with discounts from 40 to 70%.
This Friday and Saturday only at the Walker's Furniture Warehouse.
I have a little bit of savings, but I depend on Social Security and Medicare. I'm alarmed to read that Tiffany Smiley supports a plan that could virtually, in all respects, end Social Security and Medicare in 5 years. Then she'd make Congress fight about whether to create those programs all over again. It's a nightmare. Tiffany Smiley, I earned my Social Security and Medicare. I will not let you take them away.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's like the Avengers have arrived.
I'm here to have some fun.
The buzziest late show on Hollywood Boulevard. Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Is there anything he won't brag about?
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
Why is Mitch McConnell spending millions to convince you to support Tiffany Smiley?
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
So Trump Republicans can pass their extreme agenda. Repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
Slash Medicare. Privatize Social Security.
Outstanding.
Overturn elections.
Outstanding.
Ban abortion. Roll back same-sex marriage.
Outstanding.
Smiley is Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate for Senate, making her the wrong choice for us.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
The chills, not just from the weather outside.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Julian Minnesota, Alex Crescenti here with you. Friday Night Sports Extra. Playoffs well underway.
You know, coaches always, what's that saying that coaches always use? Remember November? Well, we're in November now. It is playoffs for everyone. Washington, Idaho, pretty much every state across the nation. So it is win or go home for a lot of these teams now.
Yeah, and we're going to start with the 3A round of 32 matchup. Let's get things going. Mount Spokane taking on Lake Washington. The student section for Mount Spokane absolutely brought it. Look at that. Now, as for the actual game, Lake Washington looking to punt. And Alex, there are only 2 things you block.
Oh, no.
Your X and punts. And Jackson Hale did one of those things right there. Mount Spokane takes over on downs, but it would be short-lived. Check this out. Next play, T.J. Haberman. He's back to pass, and his pass is picked off by Lake Washington's Tyler Jones. Jones will take it all the way into Spokane territory. A penalty brought this one back a little bit. Mount Spokane only led 7-3 going into the second quarter.
It's not going
but
down
that's
easily.
when the Wildcats turned it up. Ethan Keene, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Runs it in for the score. Mount Spokane goes up 14-6. Now the Wildcats would get the ball back. Their defense was absolutely phenomenal. Check out the stiff arm though, Alex. Reese Sherman, sit down, young fella.
That's an angry run.
21-6. Wildcats after the score. Mount Spokane brought its A game tonight, and Tristan Olsen, he gets in on the scoring party with a touchdown of his own, stays on his feet. I mean, just make it stop already, will you? Mount Spokane wins 35-13. Wildcats, they go on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, they're going to be a threat in the state tournament there. How about a little 4A matchup? Gonzaga Prep and Moses Lake in a crossover matchup. Winner to the round of 16 next week. Opening drive of the game, Sam Oman will take the pitch, and he's going to cut out to the outside. Gains the first down, taking the ball deep into Moses Lake territory. A few plays later, it's going to be Lilo Makalele finishes the drive off with a dive into the end zone, and the Bullpups lead this game early on. On the ensuing Mavericks possession, they're inside the red zone, but quarterback Brock Clark is going to get into some trouble, and a couple of Bullpup players there to meet him, forces a fumble. Moses Lake takes over. They have to just go settle for the field goal to make it a 7-3 game. And you're thinking maybe GPEP is going to be able to take control on the ground game and run away with it. Well, not so fast, because they drive all the way down inside the Mavericks 5-yard line, but on fourth down, the rush is stopped and Moses Lake takes over on downs. Then they go 97 yards down the field, and Clark finishes it off with a QB sneak from an inch out to give Moses Lake their first lead of the game. This is where things get interesting. Just before the end of the half, G-Prep driving. Nick Banky is going to take the pitch and gets the Bullpups into some range to make one last play before the break. And get ready for this, Julian. On the final play of the half, JoJo Shortwell is going to roll out and heave it down the field into the end zone. And in the scrum, it's Oman. He comes out with it. It's the touchdown for G-Prep. They take the lead going into the prep. Yeah, we see you, Sam. We see you there. That ends up being the difference maker, because guess what? They hang on to win this one 28-26. Moses Lake was going for a 2-point conversion to tie this game up as in the final seconds of this game. But Gonzaga Prep, they are the victors here. They will be moving on to the round of 16 4A. They can do some damage here. They certainly did last year, but maybe they can even go all the way.
Talk about a receiver, right place, right time. And your camera, right place, right time.
I know, it's just sort of, you get lucky with these things, but, you know, luck favors the prepared.
Yeah, so we have the Washington playoffs. We'll have a little bit more of that. Idaho as well. They're in playoff action tonight. We'll have highlights of Post Falls after the break on Friday Night Sports Extra. Keep it here.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Hi, I'm Baylor.
Hi, I'm Graham.
And Grady Smiley.
Reminding you to turn in your ballots for our mom.
Tiffany Smiley.
Send it back here so we can finally walk home from school alone.
Here to bring back road trips.
Or here so we can get the good snacks again.
Thanks, boys. This year, every vote counts. Get your ballots in by November 8th, and together, we will win.
Mom, they got this.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
Walker's Furniture is having a mattress and furniture liquidation sale at their warehouse in the Spokane Valley Industrial Park. Choose from over 100 different sizes of name brand mattresses that are on sale at huge discounts, as well as dining room and bedroom furniture, plus over 100 sofas, sectionals, and love seats with discounts from 40 to 70%.
This is one of the biggest sales events in our history. This Friday and Saturday only at the Walker's Furniture Warehouse in the Spokane Valley Industrial Park.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day.
Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion, Kathy McMorris Rogers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue, and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
Welcome back to Friday Night Sports Extra. I'm Julian Minenson. We already talked about a little bit of the Washington High School State playoffs, but as we mentioned before the break, Idaho playoffs also in action. That's where I bring in Alex Crescenti. Post Falls, a lot of stuff happening brewing in Post Falls of the regular season, but could they do it in the playoffs? That was the big thing.
That's right. One of the better regular season teams that we've had in our region, but like you said, you got to do it in the playoffs, and this isn't the Baltimore Ravens. You know, you got to be able to perform there. They were taking on Rocky Mountain out of the southern part of the state. Well, let's get to it. Post Falls Rocky Mountain winner to the quarterfinals. Rocky Mountain has 4th goal near the goal line and goes for it in the second quarter, but Post Falls defense wasn't having it. Dylan Wolf is going to stop them there. The refs are going to converge and say, have a little conference, and then they say, yes, Post Falls with the stop. And so they take over on downs, and so the offense has a chance. And this is Jake Bustamante, but he can't get around the edge and is tackled in the end zone for the safety. And Rocky Mountain all of a sudden looking like they're the team that's just stolen back momentum. Later in the third quarter, Rocky Mountain with the ball, and they hand it off to Art Williams for the touchdown. And that was all Rockies tonight. They go on for the 20. They just blanket Post Falls after a high-powered offense of the Trojans. Nothing tonight going on.
Nothing to hang their head on this season,
yeah,
for sure. So congrats on a great season despite the loss tonight for Post Falls. Now, Kamiakin Central Valley, district crossover game. Central Valley looking to throw down the field early on. Dylan Gravel at the helm, looks to run it, and then passes it deep to Hudson Dayton for the score, all by his lonesome. Now Kamiakin on offense now. Carter Poland throws this one deep into the end zone, but Kamani Davis with the interception in the back of the end zone. Nice play by the CV defense. Now CV does some razzle-dazzle here. Dylan Gravel throws a wide receiver screen. Hudson Dayton, a wide receiver pass.
Wide open.
Caden Harkin for the long touchdown, putting the Bears up 13-0. But it was all Kamiakin after that. They looked to pound it in the end zone with their big fella, Devin Crow. The celebration is on. Kamiakin wins. 35-19 is the final here. Central Valley, they led after the first quarter, as you saw, but all Kamiakin after that. Yeah, tough one for Central Valley there at home.
Well, the plays of the week coming up after the break.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
The 4 News Now Extreme Team is brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
Celebrity Jeopardy is headed to primetime. And the categories are Bright Stars, Tough Clues, $1 million for charity. The stars are out and brighter than ever.
What is Lisbon?
What is Mona Lisa?
Can I retire?
Celebrity Jeopardy.
You're going to have to pose that as a question.
What is Celebrity Jeopardy?
Mayim Bialik hosts Celebrity Jeopardy! New Sunday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Freedom, liberty, pursuing American dreams. That's Idaho. But Joe Biden severely threatened our way of life. Reckless energy policies sent gas prices soaring, irresponsible spending, and record-breaking inflation. Open borders allowed dangerous drugs and crime into our neighborhoods. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message because we are Idaho, and together we'll fight to protect Idaho's way of life.
Joe Biden can count on Patty Murray. Other Democrats may abandon Biden, but the president doesn't worry about Murray. From the Green New Deal, student loan forgiveness, expanding the IRS, and giving health care and citizenship to border crossers. Murray votes with Biden 96% of the time on refocusing the military to white supremacy, transgender rights, critical race theory. Patty Murray is a committed progressive. Call Patty Murray. Thank her for standing with President Joe Biden. Our American Century is responsible for the content of this advertising.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes.
My family's home burned to the ground.
It was just heartbreaking.
Kathy was there for us.
Not taking political sides.
She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond. She genuinely, actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
Welcome back, Julia Minnesota, Alex Crescenti here. Now, I know the games kind of dwindled down because obviously playoffs, naturally less teams, so less games, but you know, it didn't stop us from the amount of great plays that we had tonight.
No shortage of great plays tonight. This might have been the best of the bunch that I think that we've seen so far this season. Well, anyway, let's get to it. Play of the 3 comes from the Mount Spokane Lake Washington game. Mount Spokane's Jackson Hall blocks the punt. This is a tone setter early on as the Wildcats go on to win 35-13, advance into the round of 16 in the 3A playoffs. We love to see a good special teams play.
Play number 2, Central Valley. Have some razzle-dazzle with Dylan Gravel. Wide receiver pass from Hudson Dayton to Caden Harkin. He's got to play quarterback somewhere.
Was that a great play, or was it just a lack of defense? You know, where was the cornerback there? Where was the cornerback?
Yeah, I'm going to give it both ways a little bit. A little bit more, though, to Mr. Dayton and Harkin. They must sit at the lunch tables together. The chemistry is unreal.
And play number 1, I knew it was going to be this one as soon as it happened. JoJo Shortwell rolls out field. He finds Sam Oman, comes down with the catch in the end zone at the end of the half. That play ends up helping propel Gonzaga Prep to the round of 16 in 4A. Whew. Yeah, they were excited to say the least to go into the break there. Let's just watch this one more time because this is a thing of beauty. How about that, Sam?
You know, Alex, we sit at these games, and selfishly, when we're filming down there, we always want the touchdown to come to us for the point.
Yep.
And you got the point from Mr. Oman tonight.
Yeah.
All righty, we'll have more Friday Night Sports Extra and a tease and look at your sports weekend coverage here after the break.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
What I want people to know about Numerica's involvement is that it's genuine.
I work at a company that supports the community because we're a part of it.
It's important to give back to the community you live in. We are truly here to help, and we're passionate about it.
My husband and I have had the Harvester for about 13 years. If there's anything you want to know about Spangle, come in and find out at the Harvester. Avista contacted us about a business partner program to upgrade our lights to LED lights. Between the energy efficient rebates that we got in the grant, it was completely free to us. On our energy bill, we're saving about $500 a month. Everything has gone up, so that savings has been a huge help to the restaurant.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message. Why is Mitch McConnell spending millions to convince you to support Tiffany Smiley?
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
So Trump Republicans can pass their extreme agenda. Repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Tiffany Smiley is outstanding.
Slash Medicare. Privatize Social Security.
Outstanding.
Overturn elections.
Outstanding.
Ban abortion. Roll back same-sex marriage.
Outstanding.
Smiley is Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate for Senate, making her the wrong choice for us.
It says here, United Healthcare has America's most chosen Medicare plans and local Medicare plan experts.
They'll even find you a plan with good dental coverage.
How do you know?
Scott, my local Medicare plan expert. He helped me find the right plan.
With benefits including prescription, drug, vision, and dental coverage, our Washington team is ready to help you find a Medicare plan that meets your needs and budget.
Talk to a local Medicare plan expert today at 1-888-SHOP-UHC.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
So it was high demand to know the Gonzaga women's basketball score. They had an exhibition tonight against Western Washington. 78-36, the Zags win. They'll take on Long Beach State in their season opener next Thursday. Gonzaga men's basketball against North Florida Monday. We will be there, live coverage as well. But football this weekend.
Yep, well, before basketball gets started, football's still dominating the scene. Idaho and Eastern Washington in a massive Big Sky matchup. Yeah. Tomorrow we will both be inside the Kibbie Dome for that. Idaho trying to get into the playoffs. Eastern just trying to make a respectable end to the season. WSU with another massive game. They're going to be taking on Stanford down in Palo Alto. They are 2 games away from bowl eligibility. And so this game probably, I don't want to say it's a must-win, but it's almost a must-win at this point in the season where you need those 2 wins. So.
Yeah, I think the Cougs might do it. We'll see. We'll put some good juju in the air for them.
Need that offense to maybe step up just a bit, though.
Yeah.